I would like to take a sample from my new book, Freemasonry, Royal Arch, which I called 5 Inconsistencies. We read in First Book of Kings that King Solomon sent and fetched Hiram out of Tyre. He was a widow's son of the tribe of Naphtali, and his father was a man of Tyre, a worker in brass. This means that Hiram was only half Jewish, so probably would not have been qualified to work on King Solomon's temple, as it was a sacred space. In the same way, Solomon's father David was also not allowed to build the temple, as he was said to have blood on his hands. We also learn from the Royal Arch degree that only those who were duly qualified children of Israel were permitted to be employed on site at the building of the Second Temple, even just removing the debris. Secondly, Hiram was an artisan, not a priest. So how was he qualified to enter the Sanctum Sanctorum? Thirdly, Hiram was not an architect, he was a worker in metal. However, to overcome this dilemma, it has been suggested that there were actually 3 people called Hiram, one of whom was actually an architect. But we know this is not in the ritual, so it's nonsense. Fourthly, we know that Hiram was cremated, as the ritual states his ashes were put in an urn and the urn was buried, as near to the Sanctum Sanctorum, or Holy of Holies, of King Solomon's temple, as Jewish law would permit. And Masonic tradition informs us that there was erected to his memory a Masonic monument. However, Jewish law, halakha, is unequivocal in the the fact that the dead must be buried whole in a grave. According to Leviticus and a noted authority on Mosaic law, Rabbi Hoffman, cremated remains were not to be interred in a Jewish cemetery. This confirms that Hiram was not Jewish and that Jewish law would not apply. Lastly, when Hiram was attacked when leaving the temple, why did he not attempt to leave by the north gate? He first tried to leave by the south gate and was attacked, then the west gate. Then the senior deacon advises Hiram, "We will now attempt to make our escape at the east gate." This is strange. Surely he would want to leave by the nearest gate and not have to run around to the other side of the temple to escape. The question arises as to whether there was actually a gate in the north wall of the temple. The first book of Kings does not refer to any gates, but in the book Antiquities of the Jews, Josephus wrote, "The Jews also and the Levites set porters at every gate according to the law of Moses. The Jews built the cloisters of the inner temple around about the temple itself." And then later in the book he explains, "Erected for it great and broad porticos, entered by very high gates, each of which faced one of the 4 winds, and was shut by golden doors." This would suggest 4 gates, and in a later section it seems that there were several doors in each of the gates in the outer wall, including a gate specially for women to enter the temple. This is a bit of a conundrum. Hiram's only half Jewish. He's not a rabbi or priest, so he's not allowed inside, probably not even allowed inside the temple. And when you read Antiquities of the Jews, there were signs carved in the wall saying that foreigners could not pass this this place? Well, that would include Hiram. So he wasn't allowed into the Sanctum Sanctorum, probably wasn't allowed onto the site, he probably wasn't involved in the building of the temple. He might have been involved in building the brass columns at the entrance. Why didn't he escape by the closest gate? These seem to be very simple questions, but I haven't heard them asked before. However, I attempt to answer these questions in my new book, Freemasonry Royal Arch, and I hope you enjoy it. In the coming days I will introduce more of these conundrums about the ritual that we seem to accept without thinking about them. We just gloss over them. Anyway, thank you for watching my short video.